What's up, guys? Welcome to 888 Inner Circle Expansions with Flair and Gala Games. Do we have them on stage yet? I see Flair. Sarah, where's Gala Games?
Hello, we've got Bucks with us from Gala Games. We have NFT Punk with us from Gala Games up here.
Bucks, NFT Punk. So good to have you, Flair. So good to have you. 888, so good to have you, even though you can't speak to us. But we have you emojiing, which is always fun. Sarah, I wanted to quickly go over 888 Inner Circle and what it is because I can see we have a lot of new faces and a lot of avatars that I haven't seen before joining us today. So, really quickly, can you sort of go over what 888 Inner Circle is and what the expansion is for people who are new here?
Yeah, 100%. So 888, who you see up here in the crowd, he's more than just our angel ape. He's an anonymous crypto art collector. Sorry if you hear my dog currently barking for 888 right now. He started his NFT journey collecting art from emerging artists online, really that he connected with and that he loved. And through that, he built a really large and vibrant community and recognized where there were holes in the developing NFT market for both artists and collectors, really. So from that point, he started something called 888 The New World, which is an NFT marketplace actually coming out later this year with our partner Gala Games. And he started something called 888 Inner Circle. An 888 Inner Circle is a tokenized membership club on Ethereum where your Inner Circle NFT doubles as your membership card. And that brings you into the 888 ecosystem with a bunch of different benefits. So the first generation of Inner Circle NFTs that was dropped last September, and that consisted of 8,888 Genesis pieces. And now with this new drop happening tomorrow, we're introducing 80,000 new 888 Inner Circle NFTs. That's going to provide more inclusive access through this new membership tier. So our OG Genesis holders who we love will now receive platinum level membership. Members that hold 8 Genesis NFTs, aka what we call the Inner 8, will now receive black level membership. And holders of these new NFTs coming out tomorrow will receive gold level membership. So 888 is going to pin a Medium post at the top of this spaces, and that's going to contain a breakdown of all the benefits that come with each membership tier so you can kind of get a better sense. And overall, expanding the 888 Inner Circle is going to allow for more inclusivity and advance our primary vision of really growing our membership base around the world and becoming a global brand with global partnerships for our members. So lastly, these new NFTs are going to be distributed through 8 Realm Guardians, and we're really excited to have 2 of them here with us today, Flair and Gala Games. Not only are they both Realm Guardians, but they're also core partners for 888 The New World. So we'd love to bring up Flair to start. I think we have maybe Dominic from the team or Max. So Flair, if
Hugo,
you wouldn't mind. Hey, how's it going?
good. How are you?
Good, good. We'd love to hear a little bit more about just who Flair is and what you guys are doing and why you partnered with the Inner Circle.
Yeah. So, Flare's a new layer one coming out in a couple of months. Um, Currently, we have our Canary network, which is like the forerunner to Flare. So it's where we're testing all of the various things that Flare is really bringing to the market. So Songbird's been around since September 2021. As a Canary network, it's done amazing things so far. I mean, the number of transactions on it, more than 13 million, more than 300,000 addresses, 50,000 people interacting, 50,000 addresses, more than interacting with the DeFi protocols on there and the native Oracle. And as I'm sure you know, we partnered with Gala and with 888 to launch Flow the New World. Flow the New World, not Flow the New World, what am I talking about? 888 the New World. And that will be launching on Flare when Flare comes out. One of the, I think, really important things about Flare and Songbird as it currently stands is that it's pretty much one of the fastest Ethereum virtual machine chains out there, meaning that we're running Ethereum smart contracts extremely quickly. um, at very, very low cost and at negligible carbon impact. So, you know, in contrast to other blockchains, especially proof of work chains, Flare is massively low carbon. So that's, I think, one of the most important things. But also, Flare isn't trying to just launch a new layer one blockchain. Flare's trying to launch a new layer one blockchain that brings all of the blockchains together with really powerful, robust interoperability. And so we're not trying to be maxis about Flare. We're actually trying to unlock value across the space by, we believe, enabling interoperability properly. And that hopefully won't just be interoperability for tokens with value like a crypto token, but also interoperability for things like NFTs. So, maybe being able to use your NFT from one blockchain on a metaverse that works essentially on another blockchain, being able to use that by sending it through Flare to get to that chain.
And
So that's
really
a
quick,
little bit high level.
really quickly, can you just give a definition? I know you explained it briefly, but can you give a definition for what interoperability means? Because I see so many people here who are new and who I haven't seen before.
Well, at the moment we live in the world in blockchain, which is like the financial system, 300 years ago, where, if you wanted to move money between countries or any asset between countries, and then remember an NFT is an asset, you would have to basically put it on a boat, hope the boat doesn't sink, hope you don't get attacked by pirates, and then use your assets in that country. And that's much the same about, really in blockchain today, we think, is, the ways that you can move between blockchains with your assets. Remember, they're yours, they're not, anyone else's, and they really shouldn't be bound to a particular chain. The ways you can move those assets are really hard and really janky. Flare is hoping to provide a way to rationalize that, to make it better, to make it safer.
Got it. And then the other question that people are sending me is, what is proof of stake?
Proof of stake is a way to build a blockchain, essentially a way to defend against something called the Sybil attack, which is essentially one of the key elements of building a public blockchain where you don't know the identities of each a computer on the network. Proof of stake is a way to build that chain by asking each computer to, each validator essentially, to put some value at risk, and therefore hope that they don't collaborate to attack the network. Flare doesn't actually use proof of stake. It uses a different consensus mechanism.
Okay, got it. So the other thing is, now you're collaborating with 888. You're going to be, hold on, you're not one of the guardians, or you are?
We are definitely one of the guardians.
Yeah. Okay.
And in fact, we are, we're also the home to 888 the New World. So, we are, I think we're, of any project in the space, we're the most invested in the 888 community. I think, when I've had the privilege of talking to 888 himself, herself, whichever one that is, and I shan't reveal it. And the ideals that 888 puts forward for the space are shared by us. It's for collectors and artists. It's obviously, our industry has hugely speculative aspects, but we must all remember that we're in this to build an entirely new way that creativity gets dispersed to the masses.
Right. And as a guardian of the White Realm, what made you want to collaborate and do that?
So I think this is just a wonderful launch pad. Like in the, I think having a membership sort of system that is put together by someone with such solid ideals in the space, it's really hard. There's so many people in this space, and sometimes you even find out that the people that maybe you admire, you don't admire when you actually find out who they are. And we all saw that a couple of weeks ago. But to have something that's put together really without our involvement, so we're not, we haven't purchased anything, we haven't paid for anything, we're not looking at profit from this. So to have essentially the way that NFTs come to our network, largely intermediated by someone with whom we share a vision, with whom we value, in the space deeply, is how we would like to start. It's a great starting place for us, and the inner circle and the inner circle expansion is a fantastic way to engage with both the 888 community, but also as people start to build more NFT offerings on Songbird and Flare, it's a great way for them to engage with the 888 community. It's a great launch pad for their projects and for their creativity. So, we've all been talking the last couple of days, weeks about the things that are available to the 888 Inner Circle members, and, sort of, pre-applying for whitelists and things like that. And, it's a fantastic launch pad for us as a network.
Got it. And what else can you tell us about Flare?
So I think there's quite a lot of stuff about Flare, and we're very technical in nature as a team. So a lot of people just looking at Flare from the outside won't necessarily be able to get what we're trying to build. But to put it succinctly, we're trying to become the layer for interoperability. A really substantially better thought through than alternatives. And we think that has massive implications, not just for value transfer in the short term. So being able to maybe use your Doge, use your XRP, use your Bitcoin, use your Algorand on Flare, or even move it to other networks through Flare. But it has to, as the metaverse gets built out, as NFT and creative assets in the space get built out and used, I think Flare will become more and more powerfully useful for that.
Okay, that sounds fascinating. The last question I have for you is, what benefits can holders of the Flare realm expect in addition to the gold level membership that they get from 888?
So obviously, there's those defined benefits, and thank you for defining them. We're building out essentially an ecosystem team, which is almost constantly getting requests from NFT and creative voices in the community. And we're one of 888's biggest, I suppose, proponents in the space. And so we will be always pushing for projects that come to Flare, projects that come to Songbird, to be engaging with the 888 community, and to be, a great way for them to get started, to get known, to build a community. Imagine you're a creator and you're not that well known, perhaps. It's a fantastic way for them to come and get, engage with a community that's probably receptive to what they're doing. And so, we have essentially a foundation. We have a large amount of our tokens that are essentially vested in the foundation. The foundation will be, managing the ecosystem to a large extent. And so we will be making sure that the 888 world, whether that's 888 the new world or 888 the inner circle, is getting access to the best of the projects that come to Flare and Songbird. And if you get your 888 inner circle token in the next couple of days, that will eventually be able to go onto Flare itself when Flare launches. So that'll be, that's where it'll get its long-term existence.
Okay, wow. Also, I know
And,
that the Flare
and
realm.
I think it'll be fun just to bump in. I think it'll be fun to watch the discrepancy in minting times as well.
Okay, cool. I also know that the Flare realm is available on Songbird and will be tradable on Sparkles, which we have Sparkles on stage with us now. If you want to say hi, would love to hear from you, Sparkles, or if not, you can just give us an emoji. That's on you.
No, happy to join in. Thanks for having us.
Perfect. Thank you for being here. I also have questions for, I don't mean to skip over you. If there's anything that you want to add at any point, please just chime in.
Yeah, for sure. We're here to just, try to help out. And we have some questions that probably the community would like to know about from Flare's perspective of what this means for them as realm holders.
All right, well, let's get into them. Go for it.
Awesome. Yeah, so the one question we have is, since Flare is the only blockchain realm partner, is Flare making NFTs a focal point of the blockchain?
As you know, Flare's principally about interoperability. Today, the biggest shortcoming in interoperability, just in terms of the value that exists out there, is in fungible tokens that don't have access to have a way to make a yield in a decentralized manner. So, in short, DeFi, or fungible tokens that are on a sort of locked on a chain with massively high gas fees. So obviously our first port of call is to enable those chains to use smart contracts cheaply and at a low carbon cost. But we see NFTs as probably the biggest development for the next 5 years in blockchain. So we absolutely are making NFTs, and especially for things like gaming and metaverses, a big focal point. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we teamed up with you, and one of the reasons why we teamed up with 888 and 888 the New World. So we're very big believers in NFTs. Just to give a couple of the other projects, I mean, we've got Rival Games, which are kind of very exciting in NFTs. We've got as you've seen, loads of different NFT projects come to Songbird already. We've had sort of Songbird Punks, we've had Songbird Birds. We've got a partnership with the Global Esports Federation. They have a whole NFT strategy that they intend to roll out. So if you could say we have two pillars, NFTs are equally one of those pillars. And we think interoperability for NFTs and the ability to use your NFTs in DeFi, cheaply and at low carbon cost is incredibly important.
That's awesome. I think the community will really appreciate that. And that sort of ties into the next question is, there's been a lot of blockchains that have tried to take on Ethereum in terms of NFTs. They've all gotten, they get close, they get popular, but no one's really been able to, take over that dominance from ETH. What do you think, or anyone else on the panel really think that needs to happen for other chains to catch mainstream adoption for NFTs?
I'm happy to give my answer really quickly. Like, I never see these things as a binary, right? I think it's so it's such a basic view to see things as, oh, one chain only. I just really disagree with that point. That's why we're huge in, hugely focused on interoperability. So I don't really, have, we're super agnostic as to what chains we connect to. If there's community and there's value and there's interesting things to do, we think that's an interesting thing to do. Every technology has its trade-offs. So you might look at Solana and you might think, well, that's got its trade-offs and they're glaringly obvious for the most part. You might look at, Cosmos and Polkadot, and they all have their trade-offs. Flare will have its trade-offs, where we think they're lower than most. Ethereum obviously has its trade-offs. So I think to look at these things as binary is just, I think it's a hindrance to the growth of the system.
I hear that. I really hear that. We also have Sarah on stage with us, Bucks, and
Hey
we have
guys,
Hey,
what's
how's it
Sarah.
up?
going? How's it all going? You okay?
It's going good. We're so happy to have you here with us.
It's a good conversation so far. It's always difficult to follow Hugo, but I'll give it a good go.
Yeah, can you tell us all about Gala and what you've been doing and what the future holds?
I would love to. You will probably know Gala right now, specifically for games. And a lot of what Hugo was talking about with interoperability, this idea you can take something from one world and give it a purpose and value in another, I think is something that really, really runs true throughout the whole of the Gala ecosystem. So we were, to start with at least, there's more news on that coming this week, but a gaming company that just so happens to build games on the blockchain. So we're not a project, we're not a blockchain gaming company, we're a games company that builds these wonderful experiences and games you want to play. We've got a lot of games in the pipeline that are being currently built. They're not your what you maybe associate with blockchain right now. There's some AAA titles on there, which is really exciting. And you might be wondering, why on earth do you want to go through all the effort when gaming is as popular and as huge as it is already to try and create a space for it in this new world? And the reason for that is because if you look back, gaming has traditionally looked after the people that publish the games and the platforms that promote the games. And in and amongst all that, a couple of really key people get lost. And the first is the developers who have the actual ideas and the talent and put all the effort into making these wonderful experiences. They get very little back. And then, of course, the other group who we care about immensely are the players. And they spend their time, and they were often spending their own money and quite a significant amount. Gaming is double the size of music and movies combined. So it's a huge industry. And when you turn that game off, when you decide you don't want to play that game anymore, you lose everything that was associated with that game because none of it was real. And what the NFT space has done, even if you are new to it, you will probably understand the benefit of when that digital asset is actually yours, because it means you can give it to somebody else. It means you can sell it. And because we're obsessed with utility at Gala, it also means it has an actual function in a game. So it can affect your gameplay, it can make you level up, it can give you an asset to actually play within the game. So it's an actual game item. And the most exciting part of that is you can use it as a way to play to earn. And I think the proudest thing I have about working with Gala, and a reason why ideologically we are so connected to 888 as an individual, but also 888 the new world, incredibly proud of what we're building with the guys as their technology partner, but so much more than that too, which is lovely, is the fact that actually you can change people's lives by playing games. And that's something that you would normally see in movies, right? That's something you might read of in a book, but it's true and it's happening, and we see it every week. We've had some wonderful stories from the community, and it can be little things, people paying for their shopping every week by playing Townstar. But on occasion, it's really big things. So a family in the Philippines buying their first home ever, or somebody being able to settle their student debt. And I just think something as wonderful as being able to play and to be able to benefit from creativity and talent and time is hugely exciting. And so we're taking that ethos and we're looking at other creative industries. And art is one of them that we're obviously partnering with 8884. And we've got something else up our sleeves too that's launching this week. So it's a very exciting time for Gala, and to say that the team is working full tilt on bringing more value to people by using the blockchain and using gaming to start with as that catalyst is probably an understatement. So super proud to be on this call and to be associated with Sarah and the rest of the team at 888 The New World, because I think your whole company ethos is reflected by the people you choose to work with. And so, if they're the reflection, then we're definitely on the right track. That's for sure.
This is incredible. And also, I want to point out we have almost 1,000 people in this space, and that excites me so much.
Absolutely. I mean, and people think they're late, people come into this space and it sounds really technical and we go into a technology conversation and some people, all they really need to know, in exactly the same way if you're using an app, you don't worry about what protocol it's running and what different things it's having to connect to or what APIs are involved in the experience you're getting. You care about the experience. And if you take that as your primary objective, and we do a lot of the hard work and we make sure that your experience is connected to owning your content and the freedom that gives you and the possibilities that unlocks for you. If you combine to that as a principle, then you are certainly amongst good friends when you're in a community like the one we're in right now. And I think that's just hugely powerful. And from our point of view, we're the only, we believe, independent company in this space. So we haven't taken a cent of external funding at all. So what we've created, we've done for ourselves. And that's really important to us because it means we keep full freedom and full control over what we're doing, which means we get to pick who we work with completely. And if we want to pivot and we want to do something based on what our community is asking us for, we can absolutely do it, because that's the possibilities of this brand new world that we're all getting to come and play in and learn more about. And I think probably fall on our faces on occasion because it is a brand new space and we're all finding our feet. And the more the merrier, the more people that discover this and come in on it and see that this is a whole new world of possibilities. And I think for creatives and for players, for collectors, for fans all over the world, that there's probably something for everybody in the blockchain space. They maybe just haven't found it yet, but I guarantee you they will in a little while.
Yeah, no, I love that so much. When I first came to this space, I didn't know what I was going to do. And someone told me that they're like, you can just make something up and run with it. And I ran with Director of Vibes.
I love it.
It worked. It worked for me.
Hey, I'm CEO of Gala and I make it up every single day. So, between us, we're doing something right. I think that's probably a better way to run business these days.
I
anyway.
love that, Sarah. I have another question for you. So, Gala Games. Okay. What are your current games? What are your future games? What are your future plans?
Oh my goodness, two very different questions, because games are part of our plans for sure. And if you have a look on our website, you'll see that we're really trying to offer a huge range. So whatever your taste is, whether you like first person shooters, whether you like role playing games, if you're familiar with Townstar, those farming type games that are a bit more strategy based and maybe action based. So there's a whole range on there, and you'll also see in terms of game fidelity that we offer. We're going right up to that, as I mentioned earlier, that AAA experience, because we don't think you should have to compromise. And there's some really exciting ones coming down the pipe. There's two new games being announced later this week, one of which I cannot wait to play. It's totally my vibe. And we're all really excited about Mirandus. I think Mirandus, for me, when I joined in very early last year, Michael had me within the first couple of sentences. I think as a storyteller, as a visionary, as a game designer, He's absolutely exceptional, and we're in good company there. So we're working with the likes of Peter Molyneux, Will Wright, the creator of The Sims. So we are bringing in the biggest and the best in the games industry when it was fun, when it wasn't just so formulaic that we have to adhere to terms of service, and there was a certain way of monetizing things and a certain, standardized set that you had to do to put a game on a console or, into the app store. And I think breaking open those boundaries means the games you're going to start seeing flowing over Gala's platform will blow your mind, not just from a blockchain perspective, but actually from a gaming experience. In terms of plans, when you start with what I would arguably say is the most difficult thing. So we are building experiences that, the average playtime for Townstar is something like, and I'm not exaggerating, about 4 hours a day. So when you create an experience that pulls people in for 4 hours a day and somebody says to you, hey, do you fancy taking on this challenge? All of a sudden you're thinking, well, what are the key components to it? Well, there's art, there's music, there's gameplay, there's utility. Yeah, we do all of those things and we understand how they work together. And I think that's probably the easiest answer to you, Nicole, is that, what are our plans? It's to keep weaving this stuff together, because Web3 for me is about bringing these wonderful creative elements, into one world that's never happened before. So you can switch seamlessly between gameplay and socializing and music and art and all of these things. And then you can put an earning mechanism within all of that as well. And so you almost don't know which world you're in, because actually people call it the metaverse, is about combining these in a way that's never been done before, rather than everything existing in isolation or one thing taking the lead on another. And I think, Hugo spoke to that a little bit earlier, and our plans definitely involve all of those things. And as I say, there's some interesting news about to hit in a couple of days on the latest for that. But it's by no means the last thing that we'll be expanding into, using our methodology and our ideology for the space, for sure.
Man, this is so exciting.
It really is exciting.
It really
I'm actually stood up walking around, because that's kind of how it happens in this company. Everybody says, a month in crypto, a day in crypto is like a month in the real world. I was chatting to James, who's also on this call, and we were talking about, we don't really use job titles because we hate that kind of bullshit. But he's CSO, and he sort of said, "Oh, Sarah, like, we're talking about the strategy," and he said, "You do realize that in the next 5 days, we will have put in market something that should have been a year's worth of strategy. Does that mean I've done my job for the year? Or does that mean I'm now incredibly behind?" I was like, unfortunately for you, it means you're late, and you've got to get planning on the next thing. So it really is foot to the floor. And it's so exciting. We're so early, guys. There's so much to build. There's so much to discover. There's so many partnerships. And I think that's something that's really exciting about, all the people you've got on this call, is we get that the companies that are going to succeed in the future are the ones that figure out how to share. And I don't just mean share customers, I mean share with their customers. And I mean share technology and share ideas, and share the floor, just like we're doing today. And I think that's something that the old world could never do. Everybody had to have control. Everybody had to, have these little fiefdoms. And, the public at large, the community, actually paid for that. Like literally, and now we don't need to do that. And so I am determined to make sure that we're operating under this new system, and we're staying true to it as well. But yes, it is very exciting, Nicole. I'm sorry for talking at you so much.
No, I love it. I love hearing more about this. Every word you say is just getting me more and more thrilled. So thank you for that. And I love the message that you're early, even if you're new, even if today's the first day and you're just hearing about 888 Inner Circle, and
you're still ahead of my mom.
Yeah,
so
you're still ahead of her
you're
mom.
Still at the front.
That's so good. I do see some hands up. I'm gonna go to Flair after Arena, who's one of my favorite artists in the space. Arena, I know you have a question for.
I thought they were just raising their hands. That would have been amazing if you were like high-fiving, but that's fine. Questions
We
are good
are.
too.
We actually are. We're like, you know, the two hands up in the air, dancing, celebrating.
That's good.
Listening to you, this is so inspiring. I love where the world is heading. Like, I listen to you and I sit here and draw on my iPad and just get inspired by this whole energy. My question is, what made you collaborate? What made you want to collaborate with our favorite 888?
Oh, you had it in the word favorite, right? There's something about the first, and actually it was Hugo that introduced 888 to Gala, and almost a very, very similar story. You and we do it actually in how we employ people in the company too, incidentally, is you judge the person. You don't judge the you know the skills or the connections they have or where you think they've been. You judge who they are and what you think they represent and what they stand for. And I have to say, speaking very honestly and candidly, and it's a bit deep for this time of the morning, but whenever I speak with 888, which is a lot, I realize I'm in the company of a genuinely kind, intelligent, and amazing person. And I think if you surround yourself with people like that, you yourself become a better person. And in this space, we're all, like I said, we all are all still at the beginning. It's embryonic. It's only a couple of years old. We owe it to people, that are coming into this space to keep it how it was intended to be and how it could be. And I think, creating partnerships with people that make you better, that are doing things the way they should be done, is something that everybody that's listening should try and do. And it's the same. I can see BT is on this call as well. And he's another one that every conversation with him, you come away glowing and you come away with new ideas and you come away being inspired. And if we can do that for each other, that's amazing because everybody wins. And so we're working with 888 because we believed in the vision and we didn't just believe, we wanted to support it. And we work incredibly closely together. And I think, the stuff that we're going to be launching over the next few months, and in the case of BT, even sooner than that, it's truly mind-blowing. And that takes a team. And the more people in that team, the more brains in that team, the more talent in that team, the better. So why on earth wouldn't you? So we definitely upgraded playing with 888 for sure. And 888, the new world as a concept, is one that we are totally behind.
Okay.
That was the longest answer in the world. I warn you, I'm British. I like,
Oh my God, no, we love it. Are you kidding? People are so curious about this stuff that we can't get enough. Okay, really quickly, I'm going to go to Flair, who has his, in this case.
I was just going to say, we can't wait for Miranda's to come out because when we spoke with Gala, they were very kind to offer us the Citadel of the Moon, which is a key property in the Miranda's game. And I really think there's something we could do with 888 Inner Circle and that property. So I think we should.
Oh, hell yes, Hugo.
I think we should brainstorm and think about what can be done in that realm, in that Citadel, which is kind of really impressive. So I think we should all sit down and have a think about how to leverage those two aspects together. I think it'll be great fun.
We're in, absolutely. I think that could be amazing.
Perfect.
All right, guys. I mean, my head is spinning. This is. I'm so glad that we're doing this space because this is just all the information I needed, all of the questions that I had. Thank you, 888, once again. Just bringing the collaborations we need and a project that's so exciting to this space. I want to go to Henry, who is an incredible host, musician, comedian, who I know has a question for Sarah. Bucks Sarah.
Hey, how's it going? I had a quick question for you. What benefit of the flu expect? In addition, gold level membership from 888. You don't have to answer. So you can just answer regular style. Thanks.
Wait a second. Did you hear that? Did you hear that clearly?
I can just
Oh my goodness.
like a normal
That was
person.
the best question ever. I mean, you could ask it again, but it's not going to have the same impact. I'm going to be honest.
I mean, I could just ask it with what about with reverb? What benefits can holders of the flare expect in addition to the gold level membership that they get from 888?
Oh, I don't have an ability to sing that back to you, which is a shame. So I'm just going to have to tell you the answer. So you're going to the members. We're very good. I like to think we're very good, and if we're not, I'm sure our community will tell me, and we'll get better. But we're quite good, I believe, at rewarding and looking after our community, and we definitely see this as an absolute part of that and an extension of that. So. There's a little bit of a leak in here, and you might figure out what it is, and you might not. So there'll be early access to things as they drop, and there will also be at certain points in time exclusive NFTs that will span games and music, which I think is something that's very exciting. And bearing in mind what I just said to you about utility. You know that you can take those assets and you can play with them, and so therefore they're like the gift that keeps on giving. And there's also a thing in there that I was discussing with 888 yesterday, which is access to some exclusive experiences as well. So there's a whole range of stuff. And if you ever look at Gala's feeds, particularly later this week, you'll realize there's always something going on. So it's very easy for us to to make sure that those benefits are shared as well, and particularly with this community. And I know a few of our guys, Carrie, who's amazing in our community, being one of them, has really leaned in to figure out what those 2 or 3 giveaways that are pending will be. So, but it will be NFTs, they will be exclusive, and there will be experiences attached to those as well. And I'm going to end it with should I end it with some sort of show tune thing or a boom boom, just
Please
to add
do.
a musical element? There you go.
Sure.
After Henry, like the way he asked the question, never no one gonna outdo it ever. This is it. I don't know. I feel ashamed to even like talk right now. Like, wow, Henry. Wow.
We all need mics like that.
Don't shame.
Facts.
And I help
Thank you so much, Buck.
change the world.
This is the best.
That was incredible. I just wanted to pop in and say hi, Bucks. You're such an incredible, inspiring speaker. Like, I had 3 cups of coffee this morning, and I thought I was amped from that, but now I feel like I can take over the world. I feel like we need a podcast.
You know what? You are. I don't think I'm ever going to reach the highs of Sarah. And for those of you who haven't had the privilege of meeting Sarah, and I'm sure one day you will, as she carries on building this amazing proposition with 888 and the team. Sarah did something, and I'm going to share this, and you can hate me later when you see me. But we had at Galaverse, we had a wonderful, what we thought was going to be moment for one of our team, actually, brought up on stage to sing some lyrics. And we didn't realize at the time, as we pulled her up on stage, and Steve was playing a set, Steve Aoki was playing a set, and we really upset her, and it was meant to be nice, and she was very nervous, and she sort of, a bit of an introvert, and this idea was like living hell. She didn't want to do this, and she couldn't remember the lyrics. And Sarah, from out of nowhere, like this wonderful goddess, grabbed a microphone, walked onto the stage like a complete boss lady like she is, and put her arm around this lovely young girl and belted out what I can only describe was one of the best rap verses I have ever heard. And so watching Sarah up there jam with Steve, I was like, I am never going to reach that high. Whatever happens in my life, I will never have that truly amazing moment that she's just had. So the only thing I could do was be in the audience and put my hands up and scream loud because it was amazing. So, and it's important, guys, like you see all these PFPs, there are people behind these, and they are good people, and they are fun people, and they're people that are really genuinely invested and care in this space and will protect it too. And we're the guys that are building this industry for you, with you, alongside you. And I think that is something to wake up in the morning and be inspired about. And my goodness, most of the time I'm in Britain and it's raining, so you need something that gives you a little bounce in your step in the mornings. That's for sure. So right back at you, Sarah. High 10.
And thank you for creating that whole experience. That experience wouldn't have happened unless it came from your mind first and you made it happen at the Galaverse. So also, I think that girl's name was Sarah as well.
It was.
If I'm not mistaken. It's just
in
like
Sarah's
a Sarah
we trust.
thing.
Yeah, it's
in
true.
Sarah's we trust. I did want to see, I see we have both an 888 Inner Circle and Gala community member, the Real Midas Touch, on stage with their hand up. I think they wanted to ask a question. If we can go to the Real Midas Touch.
Yes, thank you for having me on here. Bucks, ever since we were at Galaverse, we were teased with a really cool BT drop coming out with Gala. Are you able to give any more information about that at all right now?
Oh, you know what? I could do, but there is somebody, I believe, who's probably more qualified on this call than me, and that would be BT.
Or better yet.
I can see his beautiful profile. He's got a better quiff than me on that profile, so that makes me slightly jealous, but no problem. Are you there? Yeah, you can put the laughy face. You know it's true.
I sure am.
I can see you laughing.
I'm absolutely here. I just really, really quickly, I have to say how incredible this whole thing is. And I respectfully want to answer your question too, but just quickly, getting to work with people like Sarah and 888 and the whole Gala team is just absolutely incredible. And Lacey was just texting me, this will make you laugh, Sarah. She said that she's been tearing up listening to you. And full disclosure, we're on a juice cleanse right now, so we're able to burst into tears at any moment. But in all seriousness, I'm so hopeful and inspired creating in this new world that we're all making together. And people like you, Sarah, and 888 and James and the whole team at Gala is just, it's incredible. I feel so aligned philosophically with what it is. We have a shared vision for a world that we want to live in. And really, this is the first time that, digital assets and ownership, I think, have clicked. And we're seeing that kind of converge into mainstream thinking, and in part, too, by some of the pushback, which I actually see as exciting. So, but just to loop back to something really quickly that you said, Sarah, that was such a mic drop moment, and it's kind of as mic drop as mic drops get, is just
I do the mic drops, PT. I do the mic drops, right?
Okay, well, okay, yeah, you do the mic drops, James. You're right.
Only at Galaverse, James. It was one time. Okay, one time.
I wish
know you enjoyed it.
I wish everyone could see James's. I have such beard envy with James. Like, his PFP does not do him justice. Yeah. Is the most fantastic beard on earth.
It's like something out of 300, right? It's like that Spartan-esque beard.
It's profound. It really is like something very special. So just something you said, Sarah, there's such an insane mic drop moment is imagine living in a world where a family in the Philippines plays a video game and earns in-game NFTs, and through that gameplay is able to buy their first home. And guess what? We already live in that world right now.
Damn straight we do. Yeah, we do. It's happening
Think about
already.
that. So, this kind of circular redistribution and equity for gamers and creators really is, not to kind of threat hijack, because it's an existential threat for legacy, kind of Web 2.0 gaming properties. And I think that's where we see actually some pushback, is because we're, collectively creating economies and communities that have a sense of fairness and actual ownership and creating together. So, I've completely blanked on what your question is now, but I've just felt so inspired listening.
Why you're saying that though, BT, I think we're going to bring that to life a little later this week, right? Because I think when you get a collection of people in a room that don't naturally belong together, but are all, absolutely bossing it in their own fields and in their own right, and you turn around and you say to the industry at large, no, we're done. We don't want to play by your rules anymore. We want to create a brand new game that's fair for everybody. I think we're now at that point, and that becomes, it's not just powerful in terms of message, it's powerful in terms of impact because we can actually do something about it. So we've been promised fairness, revolution, change, evolution, disruption, call it what you will, for years. And only now are we actually at a point of we can do it ourselves. We don't need to wait anymore. We don't need to ask permission. We've got all of these tools, all of this technology, a community. We can launch stuff, and you've seen it. Bringing it back round to 888 The New World and art specifically. Look at what the digital artists have done. Look at the platform it's given them. And what we need to do is make sure we don't bring some of the bad elements of the old world into this new world. So we don't recreate the system on another protocol, because that would be a mistake. And I think that's where creatives need to, band together and say, no, we want to do it completely differently. And that's what you're doing with your art drop, BT. And that might relate back to the question you had about, is there any news or update on what's happening there? Back to you. See,
Well,
seamless bridging. Back to
well
the
played, well played. So yeah, I mean, there's plenty of news. We're really, really, really excited to launch my first ever generative project, and in tandem with all of these incredible people that are here with us on stage. So I don't know how much or how little I should say here, Sarah, but
could I expand on it a little bit? So,
Sure.
For example, it's a Dutch auction going back from 11.11 ETH, right?
That's right. Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Could you attest to like why? So, with the value being set at 11 ETH as a Dutch auction, what can you say anything to the value that's going to go into it to make it why you guys are starting it at such a high level?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to speak to that. So what this project is, just kind of zoomed out, macro of the project is, the project is called the Orbs, and it's 3,333 real-time generative music and art NFTs. It's also the last 10 months of my life making this thing. Each and every one of them is this beautiful, transcendent, unique, meditative, live coded combination of complex visual animations, runtime synthesis. So it has live actual synthesis streaming from the blockchain, digital signal processing, live MIDI sequencing. And one of the coolest things about it, and you asked about the price point, is every single one of these orbs will make a unique in-game score that only that person has. All 3,333 of them are as unique as a fingerprint or a snowflake. And each one of them will provide a completely bespoke in-game score for the variety of games that will be utilizing orbs. Now, of course, it is a Dutch auction, so the auction price will settle at a point. But that's part of the orbs utility. And I can say a lot more about them, but I appreciate the question.
How come every time we hear BT speak, he is like 10 steps ahead of the world? He is so far out with his ideas. It's incredible. Just how every time I hear you on the stage, just wow.
Well, thank you. I super appreciate that. My friend Christian, who's in the audience here, when I showed him the Orbs project for the first time, he said, you skipped 3 generations of NFTs, which made me laugh pretty hard. But, excitingly, the thing, just so people understand what is, one of the things that's most special about this project is they are all actually living pieces of art and music. They will never, ever loop until the end of the internet or mankind, whichever's first. So, we think of NFTs, what air quotes, whatever this means, a traditional NFT is a static asset, right? An MP4, JPEG, a PNG file, maybe an audio file. These will be driven by context in games. And one of the most exciting things about working with the Gala folks, because they're thinking so progressively about what is possible in gaming. So Yeah, I appreciate that so much. But that's the cool thing. These things are alive. They never ever loop. There are hundreds of thousands of lines of code, every single one of them. Please, someone here remind me never to try to make 3,000 one-of-one pieces of software ever again, by the way. Um, don't wish that on an enemy. But yeah, so they're individual programs that actually generate art and music in real time and will never loop.
We should all feel
Awesome.
so blessed that like you have this genius, and you creating some stuff that could be like 3 generations ahead, right? But you're lucky enough to have this community right now who trying to understand your genius, who is supporting your genius, who looking forward for that. And that's what excites me the most about this space, is just sometimes you don't fully understand what's going on, but you're like at least trying. And that's so cool. Oh, I love hearing what you're doing.
That's awesome. I'm going to actually announce a little bit of alpha, and 888 close my mic if I shouldn't say this. But just, I love that the price point question came up because our community is about transparency. And so these are things that we should talk about. So, one of the things that I think makes the orbs a valuable, a valuable, whatever you want to call it, NFT, is the following. We think of NFTs as, a static object, like I was talking about before. And one of the things that I've talked a lot with 888 about is this idea that a lot of NFTs that we see now that we may love will look dated, or let's say nostalgic, in X number of years because the space is progressing so quickly. So I was thinking about the concept of Moore's law, which is, that CPUs double about every 2 years, and looking to see if there was something like that about GPUs. And it turns out that there is, that one of the head engineers at NVIDIA named Huang has come up with something called Huang's law. And what it says is that every 2 years, GPUs triple in speed. So I thought, what if we deploy the orbs as something that gets better over time? So, huge alpha. I'm going to announce here right now that the orbs are the first NFT that will upres their level of detail by counting block entries 2 years into the future. So they will deploy as a 4K piece of art and music, and they will actually upres their level of detail and skybox in 2 years, and then in another 2 years, and they will settle at IMAX resolution. So there's something else. You know, a secret, everybody.
BT, my mind is blown.
Same. I'm sitting here like, what?
Yeah, that sounds absolutely incredible.
Just to echo what Arena said, BT, like we're just so lucky to have you in this space. Like not only are you a pioneer and have been in music, but just you're pioneering music NFTs like no one else that I've seen. And I feel like we're just going to look back on this in the future and really see this as a historical moment. So thank you so much for bringing this to us.
It's an absolutely honor
I
to
do want to
share
ask
space
too.
with you guys.
It's not only just stunning art too, like these orbs are just incredibly beautiful to just stare at forever. But I also wanted to ask about the utility that they'll have, and kind of, I know Bucks is up here too, and see if she's able to give us any leaks on the utility as well.
Yeah, well, I think our NFT punk, James, is unmuted. Go for it, James.
Yeah, so no, thanks guys. Amazing to be part of this, and yeah, just to echo some of the statements around how 888 was just the obvious partner for us from just massively aligned objectives with Gala Games. But just to ask that question, so we just don't know, right? That's the short answer. But what can music do for games? Maybe you can select a game, a piece of music can sort of help you through a level, go faster, give you health benefits. We're trying to integrate music in a whole new way to a whole bunch of our games. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, and I think to talk into BT's drops, specifically, there's a reason that we're in partnership with 888 The New World and BT, and that's because we do see an absolute place for art of this caliber and music of this, this sheer cleverness, to be honest, in the games world. It's where you spend a lot of time. And so we're going to be working really closely with the guys at Speed to figure out how we introduce this beautiful art into our games, and as James said, how that might affect gameplay, but even just the experience that you have a unique track, a unique piece of art, a unique texture, a unique tone that actually could really affect your gaming experience versus somebody else's, so that it's genuinely yours. So not only is your art unique, as a result of having that unique art and that unique soundtrack, your gaming experience is unique too. And I think when you start attaching things play to earn, listen to earn, these are coming and they're already here. And so to say that, yes, there will be utility in our games, yes, that's the reason for the partnership. Ideologically, we're aligned, but I think, from a technology point, this is just so exciting. And we want to be challenged, and we want to push ourselves and push boundaries. And you have to work with the best partners to do that. And you have to work with people you trust, because it's not always going to be smooth. And like BT was just saying, this is a massive, and I think people probably will respect that, and they'll understand when they see just what this is, as to how much work and complexity goes into this stuff, and to deliver something that's truly beautiful, in more ways than one. And I think, so yes, there is definitely a direct connection between games and art and music, and I think BT's drop will epitomize that in more ways than one. So just wow, guys, it's so exciting, it's so amazing, and I feel like we're in probably October of 2022 already, so very excited that we're in the second week of February. We've got a long way to go. Imagine what we'll do by the summer. Goodness.
I love that. Listen to earn, Bucks. I feel like you just coined that. I may have to start saying that.
Yeah, that might be a little leak for you right there.
Oh.
Only for this lovely 888 community though. So shh, don't tell anyone.
I'll keep it hush. I think we also have, with BT's drop, there's something else for our Inner Circle community, and that's that our Genesis holders can actually burn 3 of their Inner Circle Genesis NFTs for an orb, which is just incredible. Back to you, Nicole.
Thank you, Sarah. Two things. One, I know Georgia has a question for BT. 2, and we are going to wrap up within the next 5 to 10 minutes, but I mean, people are just so excited about this that I don't want to end the room just yet. Before we go to Georgia's question, I know that Henry has an impromptu song that he wrote based on the conversation in this room. Henry, you can just go for it.
Hello? Yeah, okay, I'll try. Let's see if I can figure it out. I'm just gonna turn this thing up so you can hear me now. 3,000 separate lines of code, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, but I'm really glad that you went through all the process, BT. Yeah. Let's all cleanse ourselves with the meta juice so we can get meta loose, yeah. Eventually we'll all be free, yeah. When a mom asks her kid why you playing those games, you're wasting your life. They'll say I'm buying you a house, mama, and one for my future wife. Thank you very much. I'm not British, but I have a girlfriend. Bye-bye.
Bravo!
Hey, that was
Hands in the air
good.
emojis.
Crying, laughing.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Henry, can you please mint that? I will buy it.
I forgot to record it. This is the problem with what I do. I forget to record everything. But no, I'll mint something soon. Something.
Oh my goodness, Henry.
Maybe the first meta juice cleanse in honor of who was meant? Was that UBT that was mentioned?
Macy and BT, yeah.
Okay, got it. Well, yeah, no, I mean, once I heard you say that thing about 3,000 separate lines of code that seemed to be
building upon themselves. I'm like, okay, that's insane, but also really cool. So I'm gonna sing something about it. Thanks for sharing that. I can't believe the IMAX resolution thing. That blows my mind to think of what a phone's resolution will be in 10, 20 years.
We're super excited. Your song was amazing, Henry. I was howling laughing. It was.
Thanks, BT. Appreciate it.
All right, Georgia, last question, and then Sarah and I have a few announcements.
Yes, thank you, Nicole. First of all, I just wanted to say a huge congratulations to the 888 Inner Circle. I was just reading through that Medium article, and my gosh, everybody in this space really talks about building community, but nobody does it even close to how you guys do it. I mean, it really is incredible, and I already have FOMO just reading through that, so I'm definitely going to get involved. Really super pumped about that, so thank you. My question for BT is about AI in music. As a fellow producer and DJ, I'm super fascinated by what you're doing. You're playing chess. The rest of us are playing checkers. Where do you see AI in music going? Like, can you envision a world where people's emotions predict the music they're listening to or anything like that? I'm just fascinated to hear your perspective.
Well, first of all, that's an amazing question, and I think a really big one, and one I'll try to give you kind of a really quick my Cliff Notes thoughts on this. I've been working with artificial intelligence from recursive neural networks, CNNs, GANs, all these kind of things over the last 4.5 years. Building my own training sets, experimenting with AI and its applications in music. By doing that, it's made me realize something really important. First of all, like we were talking about with blockchain gaming, we're so much farther ahead in artificial intelligence as it comes to working with musical precepts that it's, the rarefied air of engineers know about these things, and it's not anything, deployed in commercially available technology. So people don't realize what's possible right now. And by seeing some of these things, it actually makes me feel incredibly protective over my brothers and sisters that are musicians, because there are going to be things that are released and productized over the next couple years that allow people to make music that have absolutely no kind of musical education, formal training, or have even watched YouTube tutorials. And some of these things are being created by using noted artists' works as a training set, because there's no intellectual property laws around that. And so some really smart engineers are saying, well, I'm just going to go scrub Spotify and use Amy Winehouse's music as a training set because there's not a law. And in fact, once you cross-pollinate several training sets from artists of similar types, it's almost impossible to kind of bifurcate out one artist from another. So this is a passion project. I'm wrapping up here is, and please, anybody listening, I've already been talking to some really prominent IP attorneys about this over the last year. I would like to see a bill passed before Congress that protects the sum total of an artist's creative decisions expressed as what we call a T-SNE. It's T bracket SNE, and it's basically a feature reduction set that's able to show something that has a lot of dimensions, but in 2D or 3D. And it's a great way to show the sum total of an artist's preferences. I'd like every artist to have that minted and put on the blockchain and gifted to them. I think that artists deserve intellectual property rights, not just to their music catalog, but to the sum total of their music preferences, because over the next several years, that's really, really going to mean something. So this is a passion subject for me, so it's one I could go on about for hours. So I'm going to give the mic back, but it's a great question, and feel free to DM or whatever. I'm happy to talk about it more in other spaces.
My gosh, I definitely will. Wow, you've touched on an extremely important point there. I was only thinking as you were talking, like I could literally go into a studio and make a hit song. I read recently, well, not recently, but I read at some point that it takes something like, 12 songs to make a decent song and over 100 to make a hit. And imagine being able to go into a studio and have AI write a hit song for you instantly by stealing somebody else's idea. I mean, it's both awesome and terrifying. So I totally agree with you, BT, and I would love to discuss that further with you. Thank you for answering my question.
Yeah, my pleasure. And artificial intelligence is really going to mean something as an assistive technology for musicians. So super bullish on assistive AI and very wary of generative AI. So we'll talk about it more, but it's such a great question.
Henry, I do see you have your hand up.
Yeah, but maybe I could save it for another time if BT is going to do a room on this. But essentially, if you want to give me the quick answer, my thought would be, okay, so you can't protect it once it's happened, but could you potentially, in some of the laws that you're speaking about, sort of protect someone's catalog from being used? Like, I guess it would have to be a law, but make it a law that AI has to attribute, which artist they used in order to create a song. Do you think there's anything like that might happen in, with bills? It's hard to say even like a bill passed to prevent AI from doing this, but I think it's going to be necessary. And I know they're thinking about it with like autonomous driving and stuff. So what do you think of that within the realm of like, okay, Amy Winehouse's music must be properly attributed by AI and thus like given royalties or whatever? I don't know, but I'm sure you've thought about this more than I have.
So yeah, really quickly, absolutely, and that's why everybody here. This is like I turned this into math class. Sorry, everyone. So everyone, look up a TSNE, TSNE, and it will look up how that relates to artificial intelligence. It's basically a way to codify all of an artist's artistic decisions into a visual representation, and there's a symbolism to that I find kind of beautiful too. But that's why I'd like to see every artist have their own TSNE and it be minted on the blockchain and for them to own it. And then of course they can give that to, generations of their family, or those can go into trusts and all kinds of things like that, because then it proves not just that it was, a pre-existing composition, but that it was the sum total of that artist's artistic decisions, which actually can be codified, because AI can think of 30,000 variables at a time instead of our puny wetware, which can take in about 7. 30 being an abstract number too. I can think of millions per second. So it's able to see interrelations in a data set that obviously humans can't see. And but all that can be turned into a training set that's expressed visually, and we should all own those. So yeah.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Sarah. Thank you, BT. Thank you, Henry. I'm going to throw it to Sarah for an announcement. You guys have a really exciting guest appearance on a show I love tomorrow. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to quick say, BT, I'm going down a TSNE rabbit hole for the rest of the day. So thank you for that. But tomorrow, make sure to join us. We're actually going to be on the Oh Shiny show at 8 a.m. PST. And on that show, we're going to have all of our guardians on there. So they'll all be speaking. You'll be able to ask questions, and we'll be moving forward towards our drop day tomorrow.
Oh my God, I got to wake up early for that. That is so exciting. I have a ton of questions. I'm going to be hosting our drop party with all of our guardians, some special guests, and a giveaway that I cannot even believe. Henry, can you repeat that in some sort of song, if you will? Just to close it out.
Yeah. So essentially what you're saying is,
Please don't miss the drop party tomorrow, hosted by Nicole at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, with all the guardians you could imagine, some special guests, and an amazing giveaway that even Nicole herself can't believe.
Is that what you're saying?
I want this as my alarm. I need it as my alarm to wake up to this every day. He'd be like, "Wake up!" I'm sorry.
Wake up,
Simon
little
and Garfunkel
Susie,
door?
wake up.
That is exactly what I'm saying, and I also think the room would be weird without you in it, Henry. I feel like the caliber of the room, it would not be the same. So I'm gonna message you separately because you have just, I mean, if you're not following Henry, I don't know what to tell you. And if you're not following myself and Sarah as well, we're gonna be, we do a lot of rooms for 888, and just in general. So shoot us a follow so you can get the notifications for when when we're doing the rooms. I'm gonna post the link to the room as soon as I get off, and you can set the reminder so you can be there at 10 a.m. And do not forget, the O'Shiny Show has 888 Sarah and all the Guardians as a guest tomorrow at 8 a.m. I mean, truly, the O'Shiny Show, I've listened to it so many times. I'm so excited that you guys are going to be on it, and I'm just learning every day in the space. But by no means, I don't think any of us really are experts here. I think we're all builders. We're all learning every day. Every time I talk to Sarah or 888 or BT or anyone, it's just like, constantly something new that they're doing, and something exciting, and some collaboration that blows my mind with, someone that I just would never expect, or a blockchain that I'm super excited to learn about. So thank you so much for being here, guys. This has been real. This has been super exciting. And BT, did you have, not BT, I know BT can talk, but 888, did you have a great time today? Okay. Henry, if you have any last words, and no pressure, you can.
Yeah. Do you want a few words?
Good night, good morning, wherever you are. Hope everyone gets home safely in the car, but you're probably sitting at home already. Because, let's face it, we're just sitting at home on our laptops, or maybe just on our phones, in bed. But guess what, that's okay, it's our prerogative. AI is gonna be taking over anyway at some point, so let's just enjoy the ride. And hopefully people like BT can help protect us from whatever is gonna happen soon. You've been listening to 888 Inner Circle Expansion with Flair and Gala Games. See you tomorrow.
Hey, what's good, guys? I'm not really sure what to think about that. That Henry guy is quite jokes, to be fair, but in terms of information and content, it wasn't that great. I feel like it was heavily dominated by people that were not even a part of 888 or Gala Games or the Fleur Network. I thought that Hugo maybe should have had a bit more of the limelight. They didn't even offer him to say some closing words or anything like that. But it is what it is, The rest of the Guardians are very heavily Ethereum focused, and I think that they're still yet to, I think many of them are actually still yet to fully grasp the fact that 888, the new world, this platform which they are looking forward to minting on, is actually going to be running on Fleur. So I did take a couple of notes. Something that did actually make me pretty happy to hear was this idea that some of the holders of the Inner Circle NFT may have some sort of like synergy between 888, Gala, and Fleur. Now, for those of you who don't know, Fleur actually they own the Citadel of the Moon, which is an NFT which is represented on Mirandus, which is a game built by Gala Games. And having that NFT, it gives them certain, I guess, powers within the game. Like, it's going to be a big citadel where people can visit. And, you know, if you're holding this NFT, maybe you'll get some additional benefits, whether that's, I don't know, some in-game benefits, you know, different shield or something, more health. I don't know. Either way, it's very interesting indeed. But yes, a little bit lackluster, in my opinion. Is 888 waiting for Fleur to come out? That's a good question, and I think they actually are, Professor. So I did look on their website earlier today, and they said on their website that it's going to be launching on Fleur, and there was no mention of Songbird. So it's very likely that they could be, and you know, they did actually say on their website that they're going to be launching in Q1. So there is a bit of contradiction there, because I don't think Fleur will launch in Q1. You know, we've got the state connector and the F asset system launching within Q1. But I still think that would take, or I think it would take a small amount of time to be, or for the Fleur team to feel comfortable. You know, they're not just going to launch the F asset system and the state connector and then launch Fleur the next day. They need to take time to monitor it and make any changes and all that good stuff. So yes, that's it, guys. I think I'm going to wrap up there. Just say congratulations for everyone that hung in there with me, and thanks for stopping by. And please, if you are interested, come along to the members stream, which is happening in 2.5 hours. So hopefully I'll see you there. And if not, enjoy the rest of your day. And until next time, I'm out.
We have liftoff.